Dave Abrams. Happy Father's Day, all those dads out there.
Yeah, what's up, Dad? And I'm Kristin Lagana. Welcome to Anne Arundel County Week in Review. In this episode, we'll have all the information you need for the primary election, and we'll meet a Galesville history buff who won a national award for her work. But first, making headlines this week. The budget for the fiscal year that starts on July 1st is all wrapped up. After weeks of deliberation, the County Council passed the county's $3.2 billion operating budget and capital program. The funding includes money to start construction this summer on Edgewater, Tyler Heights, and Richard Henry Lee elementary schools. It also includes a property tax reduction, higher starting pay for police officers, and funding for 120 new teachers. It's over, Dave. How do you feel?
No, it wasn't that bad. I mean, we've talked about this before on the show, that this was a pretty straightforward year, and there wasn't a lot of infighting or soundbite grenades or anything. So that's good.
Like peanut butter.
That's
Smoother
okay.
than a fresh jar of Skippy.
Do you want more teachers? Yes, we want more teachers. Do you want to cut taxes? Yes, we want to cut taxes.
Yeah.
These are things that we can get behind, right?
Yeah,
do you want a new Crofton High School? Yes, release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken.
Do you want new elementary schools for Tyler Heights and Richard Henry Lee and Edgewater? Yes, we do. Let's do it now. Let's build them this summer.
When you like something, you want more of it.
You want more. Exactly. Well, Kristin, we need to recognize some unsung heroes in county government. This is the 30th, but you didn't know, this is the 35th anniversary of the county's Department of Detention Facilities.
I did not know.
I know, right? Let's do a brief history lesson here. You know we love history.
Love it.
The county jail was operated by the sheriff from the 1700s until 1965, when it was taken over pretty much by the police department. The original Jennifer Road facility was constructed in 1967. The police operated the facility until 1983, when Richard Baker was hired and became the first superintendent of what was known as the detention center. Modernization was king, and many changes have been implemented since 1983, so many changes. Today we are recognizing them as a progressive and fully accredited department that leads the state in many areas, including staff training, inmate programs, and development of alternatives to incarceration. The department operates 2 state-of-the-art facilities with 397 full-time employees, 100 privatized contract employees, and a budget of, wait for it, $49 million. To commemorate this special celebration, Kristin, we have this wonderful pin here highlighting the 35th anniversary, which was designed internally, and shout out to Terry Kokolis and all of his staff.
Shout out.
Bill Martin, you guys do a great job, and seriously, they take their job very seriously, and these guys take a lot of pride in what they do, and we have a top-notch operation over there, so they don't get mentioned enough.
Thank you.
There you go. We thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Very good.
Early voting is going on right now for the 2018 primary election, and it's easier than ever to cast your ballot. The county has expanded to 7 locations for early voting from now until Thursday, June 21st. The polls are open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. For a full list of locations, go to aacounty.org/elections. And of course, Election Day is Tuesday, June 26th.
You ready to vote?
Rock that vote.
You already know who you're voting for? Go ahead and tell everybody who you're voting for.
I'm voting for Dave Abrams, 2018.
You're going to write me in?
I'm going to write you in.
Oh my God. I would like to thank the Academy.
Yes?
I would like to thank the people of Pasadena and
You don't
Annapolis.
even know what position I'm putting you in yet, but that's okay. Keep going on.
I would like to thank my family. I would like to thank my dog, Yoshi.
Yoshi!
Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we will talk to David Garreis from the Board of Elections for more about the primary election. Take a look at our community calendar for events happening around town, and we'll be right back.
Queen is just my everything.
His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
Well, welcome back. Joining us in the studio this week, we have Mr. David Garreis, who is the Deputy Director for the county's Board of Elections. Dave, how's it going today?
It's been very well, very
Good.
well. We're busy.
We're excited to have you. I know it's kind of like when, tax season hits, and if you're an accountant,
Yeah, forget
this
about
is your time.
Yeah.
Your time is now. So how long have you been running elections in this? Is there anything that's special or stands out to you about this one?
I've been with the Anne Arundel County Board since 2005, so I've been doing this for about 13 years. I started as the low man on the totem pole when I came in, but I've worked my way up. So now I'm the Deputy Director. Joe Torrey is our Director. Every election is unique. Every election has its own story. But this one, we're getting ready for Election Day. So early voting is running today through the 21st, so that's Thursday of next week. It starts at 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, including Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
We're going to have all the voting units ready, all the election judges in place. We're excited to finally be putting on our show, because we have, everybody thinks that we work 2 days a year, but that's not the way it is. Elections is a lot of project planning, and there's a lot of behind the scenes work that you need to do to make sure that everything works perfectly, because you only have that one day to perform. We don't have a rain day for Election Day, so you can't say push it back 2 days because we don't have the voting units ready.
Right.
It's got to be ready to
So
go.
basically you're saying the fate of our democracy rests on your shoulders. Is that what you're saying?
No.
We just want to get that on tape.
The fate,
Wow.
the fate of the democracy rests on the shoulders of our election judges.
Good
And
segue.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And our election judges, we're always looking for people to work in the polling places. They're the people that check in the voters, give them their ballots, push them to the voting units. We pay them, so they're not volunteers. We give them $175 to $225 per election. Like I say, we're always looking for them. It's the hardest job that we have, because in Anne Arundel County, we're the 4th largest jurisdiction in the state of Maryland. We hire about 2,500 people to serve at our polling places and early voting sites.
I didn't know it was that many.
It's almost 1% of the total number of registered voters. With our election judges, they go to a 4-hour training class before the election, and then on Election Day, we turn everything over to them and cross our fingers and hope they follow all the instructions and remember all the lessons that we taught them.
Right.
Because it's really in their hands, and that's really who's making it happen. So
That's whose shoulders this is all
Exactly.
falling on. You mentioned
Exactly.
early voting. You've expanded it to 7 other locations this year. Are you finding that more folks are taking advantage of early voting versus Election Day?
Yeah, we are finding that amongst the population that goes out to vote, the number that take advantage of early voting has increased. So we do have 2 new locations, as you mentioned. We have created a site at our office. The Board of Elections is located at 6740 Bay Meadow Drive in Glen Burnie. And then we have another site at Crofton Library in West County. Of course, that's with our existing sites, Odenton Library, Severna Park Library, the Roger Pitt Moyer Center in Annapolis, Edgewater Library, and then, of course,
Glen Burnie?
Glen Burnie Library.
Glen Burnie Library.
Glen Burnie Library.
Also known to some as North County Library.
Yes.
To our old school county residents, North County.
North County
Old
Library.
school, right here.
I know, I got my ballot and I was like, wow, there's so many opportunities now of places where you can go vote early. It's insane. There really is no excuse.
Absolutely
You need
not.
to get out there and vote. If you said you didn't like a line before, there's not going to be. You go early voting.
And that's a great thing that you just said was now we're posting our wait times for early voting sites on our website, www.aacounty.org/elections. So before you head out there or when you're driving there, if you're on your phone, you can always bring up our website. And we have a link that's right at the top. It's in one of our highlight boxes. And just click that and you can see, you can maybe pick the one that has the shortest line.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a left field question here. In your years of experience, we've heard a lot over the years about going to some sort of online voting or something like that. Do you think that the time will come when people are not going out to a physical location to vote, and how far away are we from that, you think?
Decades.
Really?
Well,
I mean,
there's
it's kind of as American as apple pie, right? To actually
going out
Go
and
and vote.
voting. I think eventually it might happen, with the millennials coming in, they're going to want to vote on there. They're going to see, why can't I vote on my phone? I can do all my banking on my phone. I can pay my credit
I was
card bill on
going
my
to say,
phone.
I still like doing old school banking. I just don't trust it all the time. So I like
Still
to go.
writing those checks.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm still, and I know you could take a picture of the check. There's something about going and actually
It's
depositing
really cool.
it.
I did it the other day.
I guess I
just
should give it a
learned, too.
go.
We're the same in that
know.
way.
But I agree because of
Is
that.
that the reason? Is it security?
I think security plays
Yeah.
a lot into it. So you might have remember from prior to 2016, we had the touchscreen voting units in the polling places, and now we've gone back to a paper-based system. And one of the nice things about it is that, they talk about hacking and all that, but if you were hacked and you thought your results were compromised, you always have that piece of paper that you can go back to, and you can audit them, and you can recount them if you thought that, there was a problem with your results. So for that reason, I don't think that it's going to be coming anytime pretty soon, soon, but maybe one day.
One day.
All right, so you mentioned it before, but here's your chance to give your best sales pitch for somebody to become an election judge. Go.
All right, election judges, you're essential. If you have always wondered what the process is like, if you think that people go in the polling places and stuff the ballot boxes, come be an election judge, see how the process actually works. Because there's a lot of checks and balances on it. And you can see that we have fair and impartial elections in Anne Arundel County. We do everything above board. We dot every I, cross every T, because it's essential that everything is perfect. We have one day to perform, and we're looking for good people that can help make it perfect and make it happen. And we're not going to, it's not free. You will pay you. So
Yeah, you made some
come on.
cash. And
Yeah.
I like the social part of it, because every time I vote in every single election, and every time I go, I get to meet somebody who lives in my neighborhood and have a conversation and have a good time. And the election judges are always so nice, and
They
you
are.
get to know the people who live in your neighborhood
Exactly.
better, and we
Exactly.
need more of that.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Definitely.
All right, so is there somewhere, first I'm going to ask, who are you voting for? No, I'm just kidding.
Good one, Kristin.
Is there some way to reach out to you, your staff, if there's any questions or issues at the polls?
On election day, you can call our office 410-222-6600. We'll have a help desk that's operating all day. You can also go on our website. We have a lot of resources on our website, www.aacounty.org/elections. You can email us at elections@aacounty.org as well. So we have staff that can help you with doing an absentee ballot request. If you have a problem with your voter registration, you can tell us about your experience on election day. We'd love to get the feedback, even if it's good, if it's bad. We'd love to get the feedback about how we're doing. We're here to serve the public. We're here to serve the citizens of Anne Arundel County. So we want to know how it works for everyone out there, and if there's anything at all that we can do to make it easier.
Well, we thank you so much for all you're doing, and good luck with this election. And even though you're giving all the credit to the election judges, best to you and Joe. We know you're working hard as well.
All right, thank you very much.
We'll be right back with more Week in Review right after this. Don't go anywhere.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Arundel. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. Everyone in Galesville knows Miss Gertrude. She is president of the Galesville Community Center and the Four Rivers Heritage Area Board, and she knows everything there is to know about the Hot Sox Field of Dreams down in South County. Michelle Corkadel has more. Michelle?
Thanks, Dave and Kristin. I am so happy to be back here, one of my homes away from home as it relates to communities, and that is the Galesville community. Nestled in the upper portions of South County, just off of Muddy Creek Road, is a wonderful historic hub. And as we know, history helps us derive the solutions for tomorrow. And one lady in particular here in Galesville has gone above and beyond for so many decades to ensure that our heritage and our cultural resources are well preserved. And they were very honored this year to receive a national award, unbeknownst to them, being nominated for it this year for all the hard work they did right here where we're standing at one of our Roslyn school sites. Thank you so much for joining me, Gertrude.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Now, you are not just the visionary for how we preserve our heritage and live and work with it, but you also serve in our community, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I actually am president of the Galesville Community Center. That is a former Rosenwald School. I also work with the Galesville Heritage Society and the Ebenezer AME Church that's reside right here in Galesville.
So you and your team have done a lot of work for this building to restore it to its original architectural vocabulary, as well as seizing the moment as an opportunity to share other portions of our history, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And that's why this spring we were able to have the vernacular forum that came to Galesville to visit on May the 3rd. And on May the 4th, we actually was awarded an advocacy award in Alexandria, Virginia.
That must have been a great adventure. And I know for a fact that of all the areas in our county, you guys have done probably one of the most outstanding jobs in making sure that our heritage becomes a part of our future, not just for ourselves in reflection, but also for our children, correct?
Yes, we have really tried to live up to our mission, which is centered around education. We have formed groups, we've done oral histories, and we also mentored at Lothian Elementary School from January until April.
And I understand that you guys have some interactive history going on there right now that revolves around Frederick Douglass.
That's correct. We have partnered with the Anne Arundel County Frederick Douglass Committee, and on the 4th of July, what we're going to do is be in the parade. We'll have a float in the parade, but we've also partnered with the Frederick Douglass Foundation, and we've purchased over 200 books that will be distributed to youth between the ages of 8 and 17 on the 4th of July, and we'll also have hamburgers and hot dogs to serve to them.
Well, I am definitely looking forward to that. But let's tell our viewers a little bit more about this award, if we could. On Friday, May the 4th, the National Vernacular Architectural Forum gave its 2018 Advocacy Award to the Galesville Community Center organization, run by Miss Gertrude. The VAF seeks to encourage citizen-based advocacy by recognizing exemplary efforts and achievements on behalf of vernacular-built heritage. The VAF Award for Advocacy honors individuals and groups for exceptional contributions toward the appreciation and protection of vernacular buildings and landscapes, and recognizes outstanding initiative, commitment, and action to promote and protect vernacular resources. And you guys were honored with this award this year, and so we just want to say on behalf of Anne Arundel County, congratulations.
Thank you so much. We were really surprised and honored to get the award, and the The attendees for the conference were just overwhelming. I mean, they gave us a standing ovation, but the day before, they actually came to the community to visit. We probably had about 125 architects in the community. They visited the Hot Sox Field, they visited the community center, and West Benning Road, some of the tenant houses that were built by Woodfield Fish and Oyster Company.
So there's a lot of rich history here, and I know you guys are also working with Recreation Parks to take some of our key assets right along the stretch, right next to us, at the Wilson House and Hot Sox Field.
Yes, that's correct. We're working with Recreation and Parks to hopefully renovate the field and honor some of the former ball players.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing the results, and if it's anything like this Roslyn School turns out, I know that it is going to be a huge success for many generations to come and honor. And once again, thank you so much for what you're doing. Now, you mentioned a 4th of July parade, and maybe we could just do a little plug on that for the residents. Could you give the details on when the Galesville parade's happening?
Yes, the Galesville parade is 4th of July at 1 p.m. The road closes at 12:30, so you should get here probably sometime around 12. And then after that, again, we will distribute the Frederick Douglass books, which is a biography that was formed for the bicentennial celebration. And we will distribute them here at the historic Rosenwald School, and we will serve hot dogs and hamburgers to the youth.
Well, I am personally going to be attending with a little luck, and I'm so looking forward to it. And so your organization, your community center, as we mentioned, reaches out beyond the confines of any regular HOA. Could you give that website address out so that folks can visit you?
Yes, it's www.galesvillecommunitycenter.org.
Well, thank you once again, Miss Gertrude. It is always a pleasure to see you and work with you. Back to you.
Thanks, Michelle. What a treasure Miss Gertrude is, and so much rich history there. You said we like history. There it is.
Every time I drive by that place, I'm like,
there
wow.
it is.
It's like a storybook. You know, it's like a Norman Rockwell painting to see that field.
Yeah.
But,
so last weekend.
Yeah. So look at us. You know, we were able to make the deadline and announce the championship for the Caps.
Yes.
And we were just talking
first
about
to release it.
Yeah. Well, not first.
but pretty early. And
we did pretty good. We did goody prid.
Oh
my gosh.
We did pretty good.
But we were just talking about how happy we are for Alex Ovechkin.
I want to be on Ovechkin's level.
Wow.
I mean, that guy is having a great month.
How good a time is he having, Chuck? Show us how good a time he's having. Hashtag all caps. We love it. I mean,
hashtag all caps.
I'm going to be honest. I wasn't on the bandwagon this year. I was Mr. Naysayer, and I'm going to have to change my ways.
Maybe that was the good luck they needed, Dave.
I might have to do that again next year to make sure I don't jinx it.
Stop cheering for the Nats. Maybe you'll see something there too.
But let's talk about somebody who is so much more important to you than Alex Ovechkin.
You mean another legend?
A legend in the arts of all things dad.
Oh.
Papa Lagana.
Well, you know I'm a daddy's girl.
Go. You have the floor. Tell us how you feel on this Father's Day.
I don't have to tell you. You were at the wedding.
I saw it.
Instead of
it was amazing.
A usual daddy-daughter dance, I couldn't pick one song.
No, of course not.
I had a friend mash up seamlessly. Shout out Tony. 10 songs.
Shout out Tony.
Shout out Tony. 10 songs that reflect the caliber of Kristin and Paul Lagana, even up until this day.
Wow.
Little Beastie Boys, a little AC/DC, some Smokey Robinson, some Otis Redding.
And he knew every word.
Oh, he was there. And you know what?
And that man can move too.
I'm gonna tell you a little behind the scenes story.
Okay.
He said,
we do get to talk about my dad too.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, just because he's gonna call and he's gonna be like,
talk about him.
Okay.
I want to know some more.
All right.
He said, I wasn't sure if we were gonna do a dance. You never asked, and he goes, but I knew deep down we had to do something. And we never rehearsed that, but man, were we
You're kidding me.
on. Wow. Yeah, we were on. He had no clue that that was coming. And then from the second that first song started playing, he was
instant.
on. And it was amazing. So yes, I'm
Apple
a total
doesn't
daddy's girl.
fall far from the
no,
tree.
I've got his humor. I have his same sort of just his wit. So we have a good time, Papa Lagana and I. So happy Father's Day. Now I want to hear about your dad.
Let's talk about Ed Abrams.
Down in Florida.
Talk
What
about
up?
Ed Abrams. Yeah, Ed Abrams, you know, he's loving retirement. You
Yes.
know, he has a great life down in Florida.
What did he retire
The weather's
from?
always
What
nice.
was his occupation?
My dad was a civil engineer
Wow.
for the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission,
Wow.
which they regulate hydropower and dams.
That's very cool,
To
actually.
which I would always ask him, what about Hoover Dam? Tell me about Hoover Dam. And then he would start talking like an engineer, and I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking
And
about.
when he retired, is that when he moved?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That's when
So-
he made the leap to Florida. And, you know, I was a little verklempt about
He
it.
deserved it.
But he moved, his sister moved there, and so now they hang out. Like,
That's awesome.
they have their own team down there, and
That's
they just
awesome.
do their retired stuff. But, you know, shout out to my dad. Happy Father's Day to you. Always there for me, always there for me.
Yes.
Always making sure I did my homework. Because, Kristin, you might imagine that I was a little difficult to deal with when I was a kid.
I can't imagine that,
A
Dave.
little difficult.
Can't imagine.
And let me tell you a little story. Of course, my stories are always different than yours.
Right.
And my dad knows this. My parents would make sure that I always did my homework. And I was never good at math from when I was a little kid. And my dad would sit there and go over my homework with me, and I'd get some problem wrong, and he'd say, you know, that's a careless error. He would say, that's a careless error. And I would get so upset, and I would scream, and I would cry, like,
he was
it's
right.
so mean. And when I got older, I realized that he wasn't saying you're a terrible person. He was saying you made a careless error, and you need to learn to, like, be more
He
careful.
wasn't calling you stupid.
No, he
He was
wasn't,
saying
but
you
that's
know
what I
how
thought
to
because
fix
I was a
it.
stupid kid.
Now,
see, I
see,
was stupid.
you weren't stupid.
And he wasn't even calling me stupid.
Now, see, opposite from you, I was always above level in math.
Oh, God.
And there came a time where my dad, I think it was 7th grade, was like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot help you anymore. And I was like, duly noted. And I can't tell you any of the stuff I learned after that point on. I don't know how much do we use algebra and trig
Yeah.
and all that other stuff now, but
Well, I can't credit my dad for making me good at math, but I can credit my dad for making me practically a perfectionist. Like,
And
it has
care.
to be right.
you are not careless now.
And I do not make careless
There you
errors.
go.
Especially in the script for this show. I never make careless errors, right?
Yes, you never make careless
It's always
errors.
flawless.
Ed, he never makes a careless error.
Yeah, you never have to like read through the script and not actually read the words that are there because you know what it's supposed to be.
Yep.
You never have to do that.
Never have to do that.
But
That's a great
we love our
thing.
dads. We love you, dads.
We do, and you know what? Because you just shouted out a great lesson. I will say, my dad taught me that you should always put yourself in other people's shoes. I have tried to learn because my father is so non-judgmental and he's so easygoing, gets along with everyone, to take a page out of his book and.
And he also
Be
taught
kind.
you. He also taught you when you scrape your knee, put some dirt on it, girl, and
dirt
get
on
back
it.
on that bike.
Put some dirt on it.
Come on.
And let me tell you something else. He also taught me that it's way more effective to be silent and not get angry and yell, because man, is that way more scary when you're just silent.
I gotta learn that from him.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode and archived episodes online anytime on Facebook or YouTube by simply searching for Arundel TV. Do it. There's lots of good stuff to watch. Please tune in again next week for more highlights and news from around the county, and we'll see you next time.